Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's iStaging talk. I'm your host, Stefan, and I am very excited that you're all here with me today because, well, we haven't really done one of these in a little while. So I'm glad to be back, but especially because we're discussing something today that we haven't really talked about before, and that is the luxury industry and how luxury brands are basically using digital and virtual solutions in their business. So I'm glad to be able to share more information with you today. But before I do that, let me know if you can hear me and if you can see me. You can do so via the chat on the right-hand side of your screen. Make sure that the audio works and the video works. If it doesn't, we can take a look at that. And you can also ask any questions in the chat right there. And if I happen to catch them during the webinar, I can maybe answer them directly. And otherwise, there will be there's some time for that during the Q&A at the end. Now, today's agenda looks a little bit like this. So I want to talk a little bit about, give you a bit of an introduction on the luxury industry in general and the digital transformation that they have gone through over the past few years. Then I want to talk about the two main ways that brands are essentially using our virtual solutions, and at the same time give you two examples of brands that have recently done events with us and talk to you about that and the success and the value that it actually brought them. And then towards the end, actually walk you through a real example as well of an event that happened earlier this year in February. So yeah, for those of you that have actually joined some of these iStaging talks before, or if you've used our platform before, you know that we empower visualization or space and product visualization through augmented and virtual reality technologies. And we've been doing that in a variety of industries. But one of the industries that we haven't really talked before, but we've actually worked in for quite a long time for the past few years, is the luxury industry. We've actually worked with brands such as Louis Vuitton, Dior, Guerlain, and many other luxury brands. So it's fun to be able to share information about that today. And hopefully you'll walk away inspired with what they are doing and maybe take a look at your own business and see how you could potentially adopt some of that stuff in your own business as well. So let me just, I have a couple of slides. I'm not a big fan of slides in general, but I have a few slides to help you guys out. So, you know, digital or brands, luxury brands have actually gone through a digital transformation over the past few years, basically just like any other company on the planet, simply because of the pandemic, because of COVID. Now, maisons, as you can see on the slide, is what we would call luxury brands. They've actually been looking for immersive and engaging experiences for a long time, before COVID even. But the pandemic basically accelerated all of that for most brands. And you know, basically, their traditional business practices came to a screeching halt, you know, within a really short period of time, and they had to figure out, what do we do now? Like, how can we continue to serve our customers in the way that we have over the past decades, but virtually? And what they realized is that actually the virtual solutions brought tons of value. They were able to continue their business, very well, even though, you know, they missed that physical interaction, which is for luxury brands really crucial. And I'll talk a little bit about that, a little bit more about that later on when I discuss VIC appointments. But they were capable and able to continue their business virtually. So when we were able to go back to physical interactions, which I'm sure that you know, you all agree we're very happy about, they realized, you know what, we don't just want to go back to we don't just want to let those virtual environments and interactions go. We actually want to create a hybrid model where we want our physical events and everything we do in the real world to continue, but merge that with the online experiences that we got to, that our customers have gotten used to and were able to experience during that pandemic. because it is not one or the other. One is not better than the other. They basically both have a really specific value, and by combining them together, you really create. You basically really differentiate yourself from your competition. So besides improving productivity and sales efficiency, there's just being able to bring that to their customers was really a differentiating factor in developing additional brand awareness. Now, one of the key factors, obviously, especially for luxury brands, and I think for many others, is that one-to-one, face-to-face connection that they have with their customers. And virtually, that was considered quite a bit of a challenge. But I'm glad that I can show you something today that has actually worked extremely well for luxury brands. Now, there are essentially two ways there are actually many ways that brands have used digital solutions, but there were the two most popular ways that today still continue, and those are pop-up events, virtual pop-up events, and virtual VIC appointments. All right. Now, I want to give you a short introduction of what those actually are, and then I'll show you some real examples. So, a virtual pop-up event or a traditional pop-up event. Let me start with that. What is a traditional pop-up event for a luxury brand? Well, it is basically a temporary retail space that pops up in usually a high traffic area for a limited period of time. So a few weeks maybe. And the reason is to either open a new store, launch new collections, start promoting or selling exclusive products, maybe announcing collaborations with new designers. And it basically conveys a level of exclusivity because it's very exclusive usually, a level of scarcity and urgency because it is for a very limited period of time. That is what you would consider a luxury pop-up event traditionally. Now, what is a virtual pop-up event? That is basically a virtual digital twin of the physical pop-up event. All right, so you would go to, excuse me, you would go to the actual physical event, shoot that environment, and create a digital version of that event so that people that are not capable or not able to be there physically can actually join that event online, right? Which allows brands to basically cater to their audience 24/7, right, during the event, but even a few weeks if they want to after the event, right, and merging, as I mentioned earlier, the online with or the offline experience with the online experience, and it's really easy and fast and scalable as well. Now, we actually have done lots of these with many brands, but one of them that we did was in February earlier this year with Dior, and I'll show you that right here. So Christian Dior had an event in Japan, in Tokyo, the Dior Blooming Love Garden, and I will show you the actual virtual event space in a minute when I'll share my screen. Where we went in, they had an event for 2 weeks. It was a little less than 2 weeks, from February 3rd to February 14th. And we had a photographer go there that shot the event there. And then we did all of the editing and the tagging of all the products as well. All within 48 hours, we were able to deliver a super high quality virtual experience for Dior that they then during the pop-up event actually put up on their website as well. And one of the key metrics that I'm able to share is the fact that there were, during that relatively short period of time, there were over 40,000 online visitors that actually virtually joined that pop-up event. So within 2 weeks, and it was considered a wonderful, wonderful success. Now, this is obviously, and that's really, really cool. There's been many other brands that have taken advantage of these types of virtual pop-up events. But as I mentioned earlier, that face-to-face connection is absolutely crucial for, I think, for lots of businesses, but especially for luxury businesses. They have very important clients where they want to create that personalized shopping experience. And that is what the second use case essentially is, and that those are VIC appointments. VIC stands for very important client appointments. Now we'll go there right here. So imagine that I am now in my virtual space, my virtual pop-up event that I've created, and I want to be able to connect with clients as well. In that space, to be able to guide them through, to be able to show them products, introduce products, and eventually also make sales, which is the ultimate goal, obviously, of these events as well. And that is what our touring functionality within our platform actually allows. So you would have the client advisor, the client advisor of the brand, for example, Louis Vuitton or Dior, would send the meeting invitation to the client, just like you would send a Zoom link or a Teams link. They can open it, don't need any app, it's just web-based. They would open essentially the event or the virtual space. They would be able to see each other, communicate with each other, and then the client advisor can create that personalized shopping experience that is so, so important for them and ultimately help those clients. And the beauty is that obviously to do this virtually basically removes all the geographical boundaries. So I'm now able to connect not only with the people that are in the actual physical event, for example, in Tokyo, but I can also connect with people that are, in other places within the country or even across the world, completely different countries or continents even, which is really, really powerful. And besides that, you want to have things such as being able to add stuff to a wish list, add products to a wish list for a customer while you're introducing things. Actually place orders and generate more engagement and eventually also generate more revenue. Now we have actually done this with Louis Vuitton is one of the customers that has actually done this very successfully, and recently one event which was called Crafting Dreams in Los Angeles in April, where they did these VIC appointments, and you can see some of the imagery already, which was super cool, super high quality, where they had this 3-week virtual event, and they showcased more than 440 products, had 140 client advisors, all using that VIC appointment software within our platform, and they had up to 18 appointments a day. You can see some of that here in the screenshot. So you see that it's not just it doesn't necessarily have to be a one-on-one. It can also be a group of people, 3, 4, 5, that can essentially join and be introduced and guide them through. And it was a tremendous success. Actually, it increased revenue by 10%, which is a tremendous result. There hopefully lots of other brands will start to understand how this works and see the value of this. And think Louis Vuitton is a perfect example of a brand that really successfully combined the actual physical event with an offline or with an online experience as well. Now, I'm gonna stop the presentation here, this PowerPoint, and I just want to share my screen and then walk you through the Dior event, so to give you a feel for what that actually looks like. So give me a second. So share screen. All right, I think you should be able to see my screen right now. Hopefully you can also still hear me, and you can see me. I can't see the chat at the moment. Hopefully you can still hear and see me. So this is the actual Dior Blooming Love Garden that happened in February of this year in Tokyo. So this is the pop-up event, right? And it looks, quality-wise, it was fantastic. We sent a photographer there. that was able to shoot the entire space within a couple of hours, was able to edit the actual imagery as well, really quickly, then upload it to our platform. Our team was able to tag all the content and all the products to connect it all together into this experience, all within a period of 48 hours. So it was done really, really quickly, which is obviously very important also for these luxury brands. So let's just take a little walk around. So usually these pop-up events, obviously they represent the brand, the way that they want people to feel about their brand and their business and their products. Those pop-up events are perfect examples of what these how these brands are basically handling that. Now you can see it is all perfectly customized, and because this was in Tokyo in Japan, targeting their customers there, it was all in Japanese, so they can click on products really easily, and it would link to the website or automatically add it to a cart if people want to purchase. Oh, let me just, sorry. So I hope you can still hear me. So you can see here, all of the products are tagged where people can, click on them, zoom in if they want to. There we go. So super high quality imagery. And then, a call to action button that links to wherever the brand wants to, and create that experience like that. Super, super cool, I would say. Now, let me just show you a couple more panoramas. Let's see if we have one here, just for you to get a feel. Obviously, it just looks fantastic. I could spend an eternity in these pop-up events in these spaces, even though maybe I might not be the target customer for them. I guess that shows how well they design this stuff. All right. It might be a little bit slow sometimes. Oh, so yeah, because I'm sharing my screen or using a webinar software at the same time. So really exclusive, really engaging stuff over here. But again, now that I have this pop-up experience, let me just go back here. All right. Now that you have that pop-up experience, for the brand, they want to create that one-on-one, face-to-face as well, and that's what the VIC appointments are actually for. Now, and I'll show you a quick video of what that looks like. Here we go. Okay. So here you see the client advisor, which is here in the bottom right. And then the actual client on the left in the top. And the client advisor controls the screen. So they decide where to guide the customer, right? Which also allows them to create that personalized shopping experience. Not, depending on what the customer is really looking for, they can go one way or another. They can click on all the products, pop-up windows, information actually shows up. And then what is really important is for them to say, okay, this is, well, in this particular case, this is Phoebe, she's looking for this product, or she wants 3 of these, add it to a wish list or add notes to it.
If you need to take specific notes, you can also do that
afterwards. And then being able to basically generate orders instantly as well. So that is a great. That is a really exciting way. Let me just go quickly here to make myself a little bit bigger. Okay, great. That is a really great and engaging way, and I think Louis Vuitton was, what they did in a few of events, but the Crafting Dreams one in April last month was a tremendous success, where tons of client advisors were using this, and I think that also shows that you don't have to be super technologically advanced. These client advisors are not, they might obviously know technology a little bit, just like you and me, but you don't have to have a lot of knowledge. It's really a tool to help them, right? I don't need significant training to use it. It's basically the same as setting up a Zoom meeting or a Google Meet meeting. Really simple. Anyone can do that without any training, and then being able to generate more revenue and engagement from their clients. So really super, super cool stuff. Now, I can imagine that maybe you guys are thinking, you know what, that sounds all really really cool, but for me and my business, I don't have the maybe the budget that Louis Vuitton or Dior or Guerlain can spend on experiences like this. What can you do to help me? Well, we can definitely help you out as well. Our platform is also available for businesses that have a more limited budget, because obviously we understand that. And there's still all of those solutions that I showed you today, those options you can actually create yourself as well. Now, what I hope that you sort of gained from today, I've been talking for 20 minutes, so I'm going to see if there are any questions in a little bit. But what I hope you sort of gained from today is that you kind of got inspired and say, hey, maybe I am not particularly using this in my business yet, but if Louis Vuitton and Dior and all of these brands are using it and gaining tremendous value out of it, let's see what I can do for my business. So, and if you want to learn a bit more about that and maybe you say, hey, I don't quite know, maybe I need some help with that, or maybe sort of help, figuring out what I could potentially do for my business, I would say, hey, we are here to help. You can just reach out to us. Hello@iStaging.com. Reach out, send us an email, and we have our team that is very glad to help you out and figure out how we could potentially help you and your business. So I want to thank you all very, very much for joining me today, and I hope that you learned something. I hope you found it engaging. I hope you found it inspiring, specifically. And if there are any questions, you can ask them now. I don't. Oh, I see that someone is typing, so I'll give them a minute right now. Hi, Pratik from India. You're also running a startup, and you're working on VR immersive walkthroughs. That's fantastic. Well, Pratik, I would say there's always ways for us, I think, to collaborate. So what I would say, hey, connect with us after the webinar. So either via the website, there's a chat widget, or as I said, send an email to hello@iStaging.com, and we can connect and see how we can work together on whatever it is that you are working on with your new startup. Unless you have a specific question right now, that is also possible. But if it's a bit of a longer discussion, then we can connect after today's talk. All right, sounds good. All right, so if there are no other questions, feel free to ask them also after the webinar. Just reach out to us, and one of our consultants or one of our team members will actually help you out, and is glad to help you. And thanks again for joining us. It was fun to do this again live, and I hope to see you guys at the next one. There will be more stuff related to the platform, but also stuff related to luxury. Hopefully we can share more information about how other brands are doing it and share more experiences about that. So look out for that, and then we hope to see you during the next webinar. Thanks a lot, and have a wonderful end of the week. Cheers.